Looks like we're live. Good evening, everybody. Whenever it is that you're tuning into this, welcome. Hope you're all doing well. Uh, the countdown is on to the winter. I hope, like me, you are absolutely psyched for this coming ski season. Got a real good feeling about it. We're going to get into the opening dates of ski resorts in British Columbia. Who's going to be first? Who's following up shortly behind? Of course, all these opening dates are tentative in the sense that it's all subject to conditions. But if you're in BC or you've been following some of the weather lately, the snow has been falling up high, and with just a couple of weeks away, it's shaping up good. Here in Revelstoke, there is snow up in the Alpine. It's been coming down in small accumulations for probably the past 2 weeks, and heading into this weekend and next week, things are building up ever so much. I think we've got about 20 centimeters forecast over the weekend up top, and it's staying relatively cold, which is a good sign. The last 2 winters have not been great for us. So there's a lot riding on this winter. There's a lot of anticipation, people really hoping that we get a good year of snow, not just in BC, but I guess sort of everywhere that has a winter season at this time of the year. So especially Europe. So if you are joining this chat live, be sure to shout out in the comments. I'll give you a bit of a shout out, and any questions you have, I'm happy to get into them. Keen to hear from you where you've got ski trips planned this year, where you're headed, and what you're most looking forward to about this winter. This is my first live stream in several months. The last one I did, I was actually in Austria out the back of being sort of temporarily kicked out of Canada. So it's great to be back. Been back for a little while now, and just getting ready for the winter. So what I've done is I've done a little bit of a look at sort of the main ski resorts in British Columbia, a lot of them in the interior. There's about, what have we got here? I've got 6 so far written down, but I'm sure you're going to tell me of a few others that I've missed. I actually thought Whistler was going to be the first one just because of its sheer size, but Sun Peaks for the time being has actually pipped the post. I mean, its tentative date is November the 16th, which is 2 weekends away, which is quite astounding actually. But had a peek at their webcams just the other day. They had a little bit of snow all the way down into the village there, and it had been snowing up top. I think the forecast for this next week, also down in the interior is looking pretty good. So we'll have to monitor that. Sun Peaks they did open relatively early, I remember last year, but with very, very limited stuff open. I think it was like the Bunny Hill, which was pretty much open, but it's still classed as it. So that was not quite worth an early season trip. I did manage to do a day at Lake Louise last year, but I don't fancy doing that in a day. Whistler is currently penned in for November the 17th, so that's the day after Sun Peaks. I don't know what the weather's been like on the West Coast. I checked in on Whistler a couple of days back, and similar thing. They looked like they were getting some accumulations at the top there. Just with the sheer amount of terrain they have, I've no doubt they'll be able to open a portion of it in time for that period. You've then got to go on a week later or two before the rest of the sort of interior resorts start opening. So next up will be Big White in Kelowna. They currently are penned for November the 28th. Silver Star following shortly behind on the 28th. Revelstoke, we are penned in for the 30th right now, which is exciting. That's the earliest we've opened for a couple of years now. The year that I first moved here was, I think it was November the 27th or the 28th that we opened. And just all the kind of the environmental criteria that we had leading to that really good winter 3 years ago, my first one, it feels very much like that same one at the moment. Like we've had a lot of precipitation in Revelstoke. That snow line is dropping. It's a lot of snow. You can clearly see it. Whereas like in contrast to last year, we had nothing in autumn and people got super anxious. And if you remember, a lot of resorts, including Revelstoke, we had to postpone the opening last year. So it's still a long way away. That's 3-4 weeks away for a lot of these resorts. Things could change at the time. We could get a week of really warm weather. Obviously, fingers crossed that does not happen. And we all keep doing our snow dances and hoping that this so-called La Nina, whatever that means, I'm not a meteorologist expert, but all the signs are pinpointing to a sort of a more snowier winter for us here in BC, which is great. And sort of last but not least, from what I've jotted down, Kicking Horse is a little bit later, December the 6th. I'm keen to hear from anyone who actually lives over in Golden Way or who visits Kicking Horse regularly as to why that is. Like, the Kicking Horse is technically in BC, but it's very close to that Alberta border. It is on the other side of the Selkirks, where you maybe don't get as much of that moisture of the snow. But yeah, looking at the webcams for Kicking Horse already, they seem to have had some pretty good snow up top. So I don't know how set in stone that December the 6th date is, but yeah, those are what we have. I'm sure I've missed a few. I'm sure I've missed a couple of other ones like Fernie, and hopefully one of you two can tell me one or two that I've missed. But it's great to be back. I can see we've got 7 people watching live right now. So hello to all you guys, and make sure to get your comments and your questions in. Keen to hear from you. I don't know about you, but I've definitely been counting down the days till this winter for a while now. So much so that my my web browser has like predictive. Once I start typing how many days until, it knows exactly what I'm asking in terms of how many days until Revelstoke opens. So we're on, is it 29 days now until we open? Which is just, yeah, it's music to my ears. And it's an exciting season for Revy because actually we are extending the season as well. I mean, like tentatively, I think we're pending to stay open a week later now in April. Freedom Rider is the first one to comment, mate. It is great to hear from you again. Welcome back to Revy Bramsky. Do you have PR status? It's good to be back. After a topsy-turvy couple of months, earlier this year. Yeah, I was out of the country in the end for 5 months, so it was great to be back. But no, I don't have PR yet. For anyone who's wondering, that's permanent residency. No, I'm actually on an LMIA right now, which is kind of like a sort of a work supported bridging visa then to allow me to apply for PR. So yeah, I've got to go through all of that again at some point. And yeah, I kind of wanted to just get settled back into Revelstoke, enjoy the summer, kind of start gathering things over this autumn months, and then start turning my attention towards PR heading into this winter. So no doubt I'll be trying to make a couple of videos on those. And, anyone who is either watching from the UK or other Commonwealth countries and is interested in that side of things, like, feel free to send me any questions. I'm happy to share my experiences and tell you what to do and what not to do. So no, good to be back. Yeah, very keen to push on with the Canadian mountain life dream. It's getting a little bit challenging, though, with all the stuff that's been in the news recently. But yeah, I'm determined as ever to make it work. Oh, we got 14 people live now. Great to have you on board. Freedom Rider, have you got any trips planned? What's on your list for the winter? We are spending the winter at Red Mountain and looking forward to it. Great town and great mountain. Yeah, that's the thing that really interests me about that place is the relatively cheap cat skiing that you can supposedly do off the backside of that mountain. I don't know exactly what it is. I heard it's something like you pay $90 for like 5 rides, and it's like accessible off the back of the resort, and they just have like a cat that takes you up a bowl and just drops you off there. But great that you get to spend a whole winter that way. I bet you're looking forward to it. What's Red's opening date? Do you know? I imagine they're a little bit later. What have they got? December the 14th is what Red is currently penned to open at. So yeah, a little bit later. But looking at the cams, looks like they've already been getting some snow. So that's a good sign. Like yeah, it should be mid-December. The exciting thing about this snow, if it continues for all of these resorts, is going to be like just how good the base is going to be for opening, which is what we've not had for the last 2 winters, especially. Like, so yeah, at the very least, if we can get off to a good start, and everyone can open up on time, then yeah, I get the sense that quite a lot of tourists are still kind of like maybe a bit cautious and not sure yet on how this year's gonna pan out. But yeah, for anyone who's doing a season or who's already in resort, yeah, it's kind of exciting. I don't know. No, I'm afraid not. That elusive news continues, I'm afraid, mate. It was interesting to come back actually this summer and see what has been going on at the resort. So one of the staff accommodation buildings is pretty much almost done now, and then the new hotel at the bottom is still being built, but there's a lot of progress being made on that. The car park has been completely resurfaced. They've also put in like they've redone the main road up to the resort, which I think is going to include a whole public pathway all the way to the resort from the 4-way on the near there. So just improving the access. That's all I've seen so far. Yeah. You're pretty near to Whitewater there, aren't you, as well? Down in if you're near Red. I think Red, you're a little bit further south, aren't you? It's just past Castlegar. When is Whitewater's opening? December the 15th. So okay, so yeah, Red and Whitewater are going to be opening on that second weekend of December. And then Fernie, I know I mentioned Fernie. What are we looking at for Fernie? They're like the furthest south, really, but okay, they're Friday the 29th, so they're like on par with Silver Star. So yeah. Are there any new businesses, restaurants, bars opening in Mackenzie Village? Actually, yeah, I think there is. So I know there's a liquor store already in there, but I think there's a new cafe that's just opened up there. But I've not been up that way yet while the road has been done. I think the whole plan is to kind of add a lot of amenities to that area, and if they could put a bar or a restaurant in there, that'd be so ideal. What have we got in there? Let's have a look. What's it? I know it's called it's called the Little Spoon, which is a European style bakery and cafe. So I think that is already up and running, but I've not checked it out. But that'll be handy if you're driving from the town up to the resort and you don't want to queue at La Baguette on site. Junior, thanks for joining us. Lake Louise's opening Tuesday. Really? I know they open fairly like earlier than most, but this Tuesday? Wow. Junior, do you know what the if they've had much snow that way then? Like, have they had much already? I got an early season trip in. It says on their site that they're scheduled for. Oh no, wait, hang on. Starting November the 5th. So yeah, that sounds about right. Tuesday. Gosh, that's crazy. I don't know. It's Alberta though, isn't it? It's always a little bit colder earlier for them, so they've probably got the capacity with the man-made snow anyway. It's dark, but looking at the cams, it looks like it's snow in there, and you can see the snow on the ground. So good for them, eh? Yeah, you can see they've got the snow cannons going. Red is about 1 hour from Whitewater. Whitewater is opening a bunch of new terrain this winter. Well, that's exciting. Always fun to check out new terrain. It is on my list, and I think last year I kept on saying I wanted to, but I knew it was always going to be tough with only 2 days off. But my work schedules have changed this year, and I've got 3 days off each week, so that there's more of a chance that I'll actually commit to making a couple of road trips this year. Although my aim is to do more backcountry stuff now. I've done the AST setup and bought the touring gear, but I always love checking out new resorts. So if I head that way, we'll have to go for a ski. So yeah, Lake Louise just announced that today. Then nice. Well, no doubt everyone will be coming up from Banff pretty early, but I mean, it looks, yeah, like, again, it's nighttime, but the webcams you can see are looking pretty good, and it seems cold enough, so good for them. Yeah, I did that 1 day early season last year and drove there and back in a day, and that was not a good idea. I reckon there was a kind of enough like terrain. They had a part of the back open, but not the full amount. I'd like to maybe try and get in something prior to Revy. Like if Sun Peaks is going to be open effectively 10 days prior to Revelstoke, and hopefully if they get enough snow and open enough terrain, that's not a far away trip for me. Like I'd probably do that. Probably wouldn't try Big White or Silver Star just because it's like the same few days prior to Revy opening, and yeah, no doubt they'll be sort of, all the locals will be heading straight to them for that opening weekend. But yeah, Revy's been looking good the last 6-7 days at least. The top of the Stoke starting to look really filled in, actually, especially on Critical Path. And Ripper Norm the powder gnome. For anyone who doesn't know, there's a webcam with a garden gnome, and if he's buried, it's something like 26 or 27 centimeters to the top. So he's been cleared at least twice in the last 8 days. So, you know, there's at least a foot of snow already up there in the Alpines. So yeah, it's been looking good. I'm trying to see, like, the forecast I looked at earlier today for the next weekend was looking really, really good. Oh. 10 centimeters tonight, 7 centimeters tomorrow, couple more on Sunday, a big dump across Monday at the moment of at least another 10 centimeters. So, and like the figures are good. Like the temp is like really consistently cool. So yeah, I'm not gonna jinx it, but it's looking good. I'm sure Lake Louise will open with Waxy, which is a green run, which is a normal pan. Is that the main run that comes down to the bottom of the lodge? Because I remember that just being like pandemonium at opening, and they had like patrol just standing across already, like trying to watch people's speeds. Johnny's joining us. Hey, Johnny, thanks for coming on board, mate. Been dumping it down here at Big White. Oh, that's awesome. So you guys are getting some snow as well, hey? It's pouring with rain down in the town here, but yeah, I'm sure it's puking up top. So yeah, good news. Big White opening on the 28th. Are you going to be there, Johnny? What are your plans for early season? Yes. Okay. So Waxy is that bottom one. Yeah. Yeah. Even though it's a pretty wide, I know there's that one section, isn't it? It's like that final bend just as you come around before it straightens out. That yeah, it just becomes a bit of you know, everybody's kind of snow plowing and hoping. Yeah, boy, I'm here all season. Just got here this morning. Oh, awesome! Right, straight into town. So is that like that's going to be your first season there in Big White? Where are you coming from? Are you just sort of, have you come from overseas, or yeah, what's your story? Big White will be a good place, I think, though, to do a season. Good, seems like a good bit of nightlife and social atmosphere there. I don't know if I can share pictures because Norm, our powder gnome, he's getting. Johnny from the UK. Oh, awesome, buddy. Another Brit coming over here. There's definitely a few more of us coming over now, and I've noticed that. I think like more and more of us are realizing, like with this IEC visa, like the opportunities to explore and yeah, just get involved out here it's so much. I don't know. It's just such a lot more of a. Just feels that the whole process is better. You know, it's like it beats just going off and doing one winter in Europe. You know, and even now that's like super hard. Seems like mostly just Aussies out here. There are a lot of Aussies, which is not a bad thing. Like they're awesome. Like they're like us. They love the outdoors. And yeah, it's a bit of a surprise though if you've only ever sort of lived and worked in Europe. I remember when I went over to Japan, and there was quite a few Aussies there, which is understandable because it's so close to Australia. But you don't realize how much they like to travel until you start going to these places. And yeah, man, the Aussies are great. What are you doing then, Johnny? Are you working for the resort as like a lifty, or working in a bar, or are you sort of figuring that out yet? Have I been to Big White? Yeah, I did. I did one trip. Was it 2 winters ago? 2 winters ago, I did like a weekend trip early season. There wasn't much open. By chance, there was a someone who watched this channel. Turned out we went to the same university, and we were on the same sports team, and so I crashed with him, and then checked out Big White for a weekend there. And yeah, man, it's a fun place. It's a place I do want to go back to and explore more of the terrain off piste though, because yeah, I've not had the chance to do much of that yet. You're working in central reservations. Oh, awesome! That's kind of what I do here. So, yeah, nice. I think it's great, like in this little area, how close some of these resorts are, like in the grand scheme of things. Like, you know, Whistler for us is just ridiculous, like 6-7 hours. It's just not, unless with what we do for work, you just can't really do it. But when you've got, you know, Sun Peaks, Silver Star, Big White, Revelstoke, Kicking Horse, all in a real sort of maybe 2-3 hours drive from one another. Yeah, it's kind of inviting to do some road trips. So yeah, hope to squeeze a few in. Hope to get a couple of buddies on board, and maybe link up with a few people as well who, like yourself, Johnny. If I do get to Big White this year, I'll have to let you know. With Big White, with your season pass, I think you actually get 25% off on the reciprocals. So that's 25% off the window rate. So yeah, that's definitely an incentive to come out here. $100%, absolutely, mate. So what made you, Johnny, what made you choose Big White, by the way? Any particular reason? All they've told us so far is discounted and even some free passes for other resorts. Yeah, that's true. It depends on your employment status. Like if you're full-time or part-time, like that has an impact on what discounts you get. And then like for example, if they're part of like a multi-resort agreement, like the Mountain Collective, for example, at some of them you get even bigger discounts. So like Revelstoke is on the Collective, so is Panorama and Lake Louise. And if you're a season pass holder, then you get 50% off of those resorts. I don't think Big White is on that. I know Sun Peaks is on the Collective. But yeah, it's all down to sort of people being, you know, with all the businesses and agreements through managers pre-season. Rossland, Red Mountain town, 5 km from the mountain, was getting snow today, and it sits at about 1,000 meters. The Alpine is getting a lot more and should over the next week. Dude, that's so exciting. Like I've been seeing that on our page as well, that freezing level is coming down below 1,000, and like sharply. Like I wouldn't be surprised maybe in say like a week or two if we get some snow down here. My first winter we had snow in the town the second weekend, and it was that bumper year where we had 12 meters at the end of it. So like I said, very similar feel to that winter at the moment. So yeah, that's and it's so exciting, isn't it? Like when you get that first, even if it's just like light flurries in the town. Like I'm going to bring out a video next week. I'd driven up to Rogers Pass the other day just to do a bit of filming in the car park, and just seeing like that early season snow. Only been hiking there a couple of weeks ago. It was awesome. Yeah, it's just get that itch now. So I asked Johnny what made him choose Big White. Honestly, because they were the first one to give me a job, but the terrain and snow looks good, and I didn't fancy a too crowded one like a Whistler or Banff. Yeah, perfect. Like you want to strike a nice balance, don't you? Like you want a place that's got a good amount of terrain, good bit of nightlife. I mean, Banff, obviously, you're going to get some real cold spells there. Whistler sounds awesome. People tell me though that the snow is either awesome, like unbelievable, or it's like wet slush. So Big White gets some good powder, and like you're an hour from Kelowna, so it's like super easy to get to. So if your parents are skiers, Johnny, like it's a very easy one for them to come and check out. Our free passes may just be for Silver Star, as that's super close. Yeah, it could well be, mate. You just have to wait and see what the managers do. Like that type of thing. It's year on year. It's kind of like decided. I think by a lot of the managers from each of the resorts. But as a general rule of thumb, as an industry standard, it's kind of like 25% off. But like, yeah, some of them, like I say, if you're staff, 25% off for season pass holders. Staff, you get some other things. It all varies. Both the Paulison Pass and Kootenay Pass are getting lots of snow with this system rolling through. Nice. Yeah, I imagine Rogers is going to be getting quite a bit over this weekend. It got dumped on Friday, Saturday last week, but then Sunday it all turned to rain. They had the pass shut, I think, for 8 or 9 hours. So yeah, early doors. There's been so many crashes on our pass, not just lately, but like all summer. It was a nightmare. Like people driving ridiculous. So I would have liked Revelstoke, but I think it's pretty hard to get a job there, right? I mean, yes, but like probably what's even more harder right now is housing. I mean, that's nothing new. It's been the problem for every ski resort for the last few years, but it's like compounded whereby like unless you kind of sometimes are caught in a bit of a rat race where it's like you've got to have one of the others to have a chance of getting the other, but then if you don't have the other one, it's like your chances of getting like if you don't have accommodation, your chances of being given that job is quite limited. But you know, now a lot of the places will be pretty full up, but then I think those first 2 weeks in December when the resorts open up, there's always a big turnover where people just decide it's not for me or I don't like that place and they go over. But Big White's an awesome place to do your first one, and then you can always come to Revi next year, Johnny. Just got to find housing early, mate. You just got to be trying to find somewhere to move by sort of early August, really, to give yourself the best chance. And if you tell them that you're sort of looking for something long term, then that definitely increases your chances. But yeah, I'm guessing you're living in the resort. Like that's one thing that's different about Big White to somewhere like Revelstoke, is that they have the village and a lot of housing at the resort. We don't have that yet. Like the town is less than a 10-minute drive, so really super close, and it's nice. But yeah, it's a bit separate. I'm right in the center of the village. Got very lucky with my place here. Oh, awesome, buddy. Yeah, that's perfect. From what I remember of it, like everything seems within pretty like close walking distance. So, that is always handy when you're walking home from the bar at the end of the night. When will the new hotel at the base be completed? It seems like it's been under construction a very long time. I agree completely. I think it was being constructed even before I moved here, so it's been a while. I don't know. Like I'm hoping maybe next year sometime. Who knows, really? Yeah, I don't have access to that type of information, I'm afraid. But when it is complete, it's going to be exciting and it's going to bring me more people. And then hopefully we get more lifts afterwards. It's weird. I've never, I've never been to a place before where you're at a resort that is relatively still so young. Like we go to all these places, whether it's like, your Whistlers and your Big Whites, or where we go to a lot in Europe, those multi-resort ski areas with tons of lifts connected. You don't realize that these resorts have been around for sort of 40, 50, 60 years, and everything has built up over those times. Whereas like Revelstoke only started in like 05 or 06. So 20 years is pretty young in terms of ski life. And when you think about, all the challenges now that we've had over the last few years, like, yeah, it's a long game, really. And one of the things, Revy is, it's unique, and I think as long as it keeps that uniqueness to it, as things grow, then like I'm all for more lifts and everything like that. But yeah, things taking time. I think everything takes time, not just with construction of ski resorts, like housing and permits and all that type of thing. I don't know. I'm literally next door to Snowshoe Sam's. I'm trying to remember the bar that I went into in Big White. That might be it. There was quite a lot of nightlife in there. It was funny going to there where people were like dancing on tables, whereas like you don't really get that in Revelstoke. So it was a bit like, yeah, Snowshoe Sam's. That was the one where I went. I don't remember much though. I just remember a DJ being inside. It's a kind of famous party one. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. I mean, Revelstoke is a different vibe, I think, at the moment anyway, because of that separation of the town to the ski resort. I'm sure eventually there will be more things at the base of the resort, and with staff accommodation going to be more and more built up there, then you'll have that more presence. Because like most of the people who are probably out in Big White are seasonal workers, those who are sort of going out in the night. Yeah, it was. I mean, the bar area was pretty big, but then I think you've got like this sort of second area around the back where you obviously pretty good to eat, but yeah, it got pretty rowdy from what I remember. It's certainly no Whistler. I don't think that's a bad thing, to be honest. Not that I've been to Whistler, but like the more seasons I've done, Johnny, I just appreciate those smaller ski towns with a better quality of like all-round ski experience, so having that blend of good terrain or good snow conditions with a little bit of the après, but also that community feeling. That's just me. When you're young and you're doing your first season, then of course you want to be having a good time, so go for it. Oh, working nights, so not going to have that much party time. Eesh. Well, hopefully you get a couple of nights off and you can go and squeeze a few beers in somewhere. Big White is great. Only downside is you are far from Kelowna or any other town. I mean, the one thing you're right. Yeah, like it is an hour, but it's an hour down a hill, isn't it? So, yeah, when I stayed with some people in Big White, they weren't at the resort. They were on. There's like you climb up from Kelowna, and there's a little bit of a plateau, and then you do all these zigzag climbs, and we were staying in that plateau. So yeah, like if you want to go up for a night out somewhere or go down in Kelowna, you've got to kind of source that transport. Coconut, thanks for joining us. Sun Peaks is looking good, already getting some coverage. I'm looking forward to heading north early next year in Feb and to check out the new chairlift. I had heard about that Sun Peaks had a new one. What have they called it? The New West Bowl is New West Bowl lift. So where is that taken? So it's a new high-speed quad in the West Bowl zone of Todd Mountain. So that's going to add up some new trails and vertical on that side. Oh, now I've definitely got to make a trip to Sun Peaks. Cheers for your content, mate. Thanks for watching, buddy. Yeah, that'll be exciting. And February will be such a good time to go as well. Sun Peaks as well. Like when I went, it was end of season, but typically February is your busiest month anyway. But the way that Sun Peaks is like built, with the 4 bowls surrounded around in like a valley, it strikes me as a place where like people can, on a busy time, like people will still be able to spread out quite well, and you've got all those different lifts. Simon Burgess would be able to comment more on that. Simon did a season there, but it's probably nighttime in the UK, so he's probably not going to see this. I'm here for the skiing, bro. Nice. I love your enthusiasm, Johnny. It's a pretty gnarly road too. Wouldn't want to be driving at night too much. Yeah, yeah. Especially if it was snowing. No thanks. It reminded me a bit of like driving up to the Alps, just with that windiness. Just 32 hairpin bends. No, thank you. Yeah, the new chair at Sun Peaks. It's the West Bowl, and it used to be a T-bar. Nothing. There is nothing wrong with replacing a T-bar. Yeah, not quite as bad as the road to Alpe d'Huez. Well, my first season, Johnny, was in the Three Valleys in Leyman Weir. That one all the way up on the N90, past Albertville, past Saint-Martin, go all the way up past is the bottom one Saint-Martin de Belleville? Yeah, past Saint-Martin, Leyman Weir, Val Thorens, like 3.5 hours with possibly an airport delay. Like not a fun trying to do an airport shift there. No, thank you. Glad I didn't have to do too many of heading down to the airports. I was based in the resort as a rep, so that was always fun. But yeah, they were long. That was what made somewhere like Avoriaz so good in France, was that you could fly into Geneva and it was like an hour and a half to get up to Morzine, Leger. Any new restaurant bars opened up in Revy? There's a lot more. There's definitely more food trucks, and I really wish they would like concentrate an area for the food trucks in winter. Like, I don't know if you've ever been to Niseko in Japan, but one of the big unique selling points, I think, of that as a tourist attraction for them is like they have this area on the main street where all the street food places congregate. And like, so people, if you're, if you don't want to be waiting 45 minutes to just get into the pubs, which is quite common in Revelstoke, just to grab pub food in winter, having somewhere like that to stop by would be awesome. There's a new bar on the end of a hotel at the bottom end of town called Luft, but that's like right on the roundabout. In the town itself, what have we got? Have we had any new restaurants? I'm trying to think because I've not really been out too much. No, the Village Idiot renovated its outside area, so like that had a redo over the summer. So it was definitely a nice place to like have a beer or eat out outside. I don't know how that would work in winter. Salt Street was open. No, I don't think there is anything new yet, but they need to. They need another pub, like a medium-sized pub with maybe a little bit of like just like acoustic music, live music type vibes, but a place where you can go and have a couple of drinks and have a conversation. But I don't know where that would be. Having said that, I don't know if you ever went to Rumpus Freedom Rider, but Rumpus, they extended. They built out into a new part, so they're like a small little craft beer place they've built out. Now I think about it, actually there is somewhere new. So there used to be a bowling alley called the Cabin, and that is now going to be opening up. I forget what the name of it is, but it's a Mexican themed bar, but it still has the bowling alleys. It was like a 5-pin bowling. So they're opening that up. From what I understand, the vibe of like the food area is going to be like kind of, smart casual. So somewhere where you could go and have a nice drink and a bit of food, but then also do a bit of an activity with a group of people. Is the Japanese food truck still open? The guy who runs that is an amazing skier. Yes, it is open. I've actually never been there. But I know the guy's supposed to be a wicked skier. He's moved around a little bit in terms of like where he's positioned, but for the summer he was based right outside Rumpus, which was a great deal because like Rumpus just did craft beers. It had its outside sitting area, and then if you wanted to get food, you had a food truck right outside. It's a genius like business partnership, and yeah. There's a few of those. Like there was a Ukrainian one, I think, that came into town about a year ago. There's the Pokeball place that still is around. But yeah, they should just, I don't know, they should try and find somewhere in the winter where they can all be there at nighttime, and or just like shut down the plaza where they have all the live music. Do you know what I mean? Like after a certain hour at nighttime, don't allow any public transit through there, and just put all the food trucks in there, because then you've got everybody in the town. Trying to think what other food trucks there are. Was there a taco one? There might be a taco one. It was so funny in Japan, though. There was like a fish and chips one. Oh, sorry, Johnny. I didn't mean to skip your question. Is Revi quite a big town? Have you got a proper supermarket? So roughly its population is about, in summer, what's it, about 8,000 or 9,000, and I think it balloons to about 13,000, 14,000. So it's getting bigger, but it's still what I describe as a nice community town. It's it's nowhere near a Kelowna or a Verna or anything like that. So it's a lot smaller than that. So you spend here long enough, and you definitely feel part of the community, and that there's a place for you there. So yeah, it's I love it for that reason. the thing about it is that, you know, it is a little bit separate of the resort, but there's so many people who live there who are trying to make a go of it all year round, or they already have built a life there and they've got families and kids. So somewhere like Big White, for the most part, correct me if I'm wrong, somewhere like Big White, you know, is so close to the city, where it's like purposely designed for the city crowds and for your tourists and your families to come up from somewhere. Whereas like in Revelstoke, there's a lot more people living there permanently. We've got 2 supermarkets. The big chain is Save-On down the main part, but then on south side, we have a sort of a more community style supermarket there, where you can get all kinds of stuff there. And if you're into your sort of Asian style cuisine, there's some great aisles of food there. And all I know, Johnny, is that I can get my Yorkshire tea bags there and I can get Marmite. So my home comforts are sorted. Yeah, I'll answer that question. Forgot about that. I have friends that live in Revy near the golf course. The golf course is an awesome place. I don't play much golf, but in fact, I don't really play any, but it's a great place to go and have a beer. Like, you're right tucked in at the far end and seeing the mountain from there. Nice place to live as well. Like, it's kind of out of the way. So Found Ponds, thanks for joining. I don't know if I think are you a first timer? Thanks for coming on board. Yeah, it's a nice place to live. And there's going to be a new golf course. They're building a new one, the Cabo up near the resort. So yeah, it's a popular place to come and golf. Spent a few days skiing there in Jan 2020. So that was that just before COVID happened? Ooh. So it's been a few years though. Have you got any plans to come back? Yeah, it's a nice balance in the town, Johnny. Yeah. Like I say, as you do a bit more, you seasons, you kind of figure out things that you like and what striking that balance really of things here. The good thing about Revelstoke is that the actual mountain culture is so strong because we're surrounded by mountains here and there is so much to do. It still blows my mind that like you have all this skiing, but then like in the summer you can be paddleboarding and on a beach or camping or mountain biking or swimming, or there's something for everyone. And you know, you've got all this amazing terrain in the winter for backcountry skiing, which I'm super pumped for this year. I got the order of Heinz baked beans, so I'm good. Now, did you get the UK Heinz baked beans or did you get the Canadian ones? Because there's a difference. I have not risked going and buying them for fear of getting the ones wrong, but apparently they're different. I'm so glad you've raised that though. First timer, Found Pounds. Thanks for coming. Yeah, they shut down Quebec when I came back. Oh, okay. So are you from Quebec? What do you reckon about the side quest from Sun Peaks to Silver? Would it be worth a visit over a weekend? 100%. Oh, 100%. I mean, Silver Star again. Like I've only checked out a little bit. So when I went there was limited over, but it's different. You know, the cool thing about Sun Peaks and Silver Star, I think, both have very unique village setups. So Sun Peaks was built on a European design, you know, like that whole town with like the pastel colors, the church tower. There's even a place in the middle that does French raclette. So I think the founders of the resort, and I think it was a Japanese guy who was one of the founders, it's all inspired by a European design. You go to Silver Star and they've got all these cool, like different multicolored buildings, like blue, red, green. I don't know. It's like being on the seaside town in Brighton or something like that. But a similar thing in terms of like, you know, you can ski in and out of the village. and there's more stuff you can ski over the back. And yeah, I think it would be. I mean, it's not far from Kelowna to Silver Star, under 2 hours. So I don't know if Silver Star's on the collective, but again, you'll get a discount on there for sure. What are the locals saying about the new Cabot golf course that will open? It will not be cheap to play based on the other courses. What do the locals think? So again, like, I don't play a lot of golf, but from some of the conversations I've had, actually, like, some of the local golfers are pretty excited because having 2 courses they feel is going to make Revelstoke a specific golfing destination. So it's going to bring golfers from all these places. Like, there's plenty of golf courses down in the interior, in the valley, past sort of Salmon Arm, Vernon, Kelowna, in the Okanagan especially, where you get a lot of sun. But yes, the Cabo is, from what I've seen, it's sort of it's tailored towards high-end clientele. From what I understand, Cabo only has about 4 or 5 golf courses in the world. So for them to choose Revelstoke as a destination is quite it means something. It means it's an investment, I guess, in the town. And but I think a lot of the golfers locally and overseas are quite happy. If you're going to make a trip and come visit Revelstoke, now you can do 2 golf courses instead of 1. If you're just joining, Johnny and I are talking about baked beans. I got them from the real Canadian superstore, so must be the Canadian one. I'm nervous to try. Okay, you need to come back on to the next live stream and you need to tell us how they went. I don't think the Canadian ones are that bad. If anyone else can testify to this, if like Canadian baked beans are bad or not, I'm keen to hear. But yeah. Okay, from Ottawa, so the ski hills in Quebec. Okay. Alors, est-ce que vous parlez le français aussi, ou seulement l'anglais? I don't know what the skiing's like in Quebec. Well, I've heard about skiing in Quebec. I think the only place where people say is worth trying is Tremblant. Come on, you seagulls. Is that where you're from, Johnny? Are you from down south? Oh no, West Brom. Ah, that's near me then. That's a fellow Midlander up the Albion. Fellow Midlander. Yeah, I'm from Stafford area myself. Not much of a footy follower, to be honest. More rugby and cricket, but all of my teammates back home are all footy fans. So, Brighton Albion. Oh, okay, yeah. So you are from Brighton. Oh, okay. I like the pork and molasses baked beans. Oh, I don't think we've ever had that. You can get in the UK, like, one thing that was really nice was you could get a Heinz tin of like Heinz spaghetti, but there would be pork or beans inside. So pork and beans, like the Weezer tune, and having that on toast or jack potato. Yeah, it does sound a bit pork and molasses baked beans. Maybe they're not designed to go on to toast. True. Well, I don't even think, I've not seen any jack potatoes out here, actually. That's another thing. That's what they're really designed for. Give me some baked beans and Cathedral City cheddar. You can get that out here if you're wondering, Johnny. It's just a freaking rip-off. It's like $10 for like the smallest pack of Cathedral cheddar chilies. Not worth it. But yeah, you're from Brighton, Hutton Hove, just from outside Brighton. My brother did a year at Sussex Uni there. Played for a social cricket team for a while. Went down once. £10 fish and chips on the pier there was an experience, shall we say. Henry Gomez, thanks for joining, mate. I'm working at Big White, first time, and there's already so much snow here. Oh, we got another one from Big White. Awesome. Maybe you and Johnny need to connect them. Henry, wherever you're from, mate. But yeah, from what I saw, like the webcams the other day were looking really good. So I can only imagine how excited you're feeling right now. Sounds too fancy for us, mate. Yeah, that molasses. I don't even know what that is, but I'm curious to know. Oh God, no pork and beans. They're nasty, mate. No, have some Heinz pork and beans on a jack potato with a bit of butter and grated cheese. That's a perfect winter meal. That. Yeah, you guys should link up. But Henry, welcome to the channel, mate. Thanks for watching. I hope you and Johnny are going to have an awesome season out there. Yeah, 28th. That's not long, guys. What was it? 27 days. Sunday River in Maine was open a couple of days ago. Really? Blimey. That's early. I don't know. It's always a balance, isn't it? Early season, like if you're into your skiing, like you want to try and get laps in as early as possible, but you do always weigh up what terrain is open, right, and if it's worth it. And I ate them cold out the tin once while was camping, so can't eat them again. Well, that's where you went wrong. What the hell were you doing eating them out of? Oh God. If I come to Big White, I'm going to try and find them somewhere and bring them. Been skiing my whole life, level 2 instructor, but never skied real powder before. Awesome, mate. Well, I think some of the areas off the terrain at Big White look awesome, especially when those trees are completely whited out, like on the videos, the promotional videos and stuff I've seen from Jimmy Ryzen Alpine and Lucas Catania when they're skiing out that way. Like, it just looks awesome. See you on the mountain. Didn't have a camping stove, mate. Well, that's where you went wrong. It wasn't really much of a camping trip without a stove. I mean, camping's big out here. Like, that's if you're hanging around more than a winter, Johnny, like that's a big thing out this way. It was it was more of a drinking trip. Fair enough. Fair enough. Warm Fosters and cold pork and beans, not the best combination. That if that's ever like a Brit in a nutshell, that's pretty much it. Delighted to say that I've not seen a single tin of Fosters out here, although there's plenty of Stella. But Canadians view Stella in a totally different light to us out here, Johnny. Like, people love Stella out here. When do they start grooming the snow out here? Good question, Henry. So we're scheduled to open on the 30th. I've got a friend who works on the cat crew, and they're not going up there yet. We like to, I mean, they definitely like to let it fill in for quite a while. But I wouldn't be surprised after this next week, if they start getting up there and start trying to see what they can do. The forecast for this week is for quite a bit of snow up there. So we do need a good depth to open a lot of our terrain, especially in some of the backcountry, slack country areas. We don't have a lot of snowmaking equipment compared to, say, some of the places like Sun Peaks or big white, but we do get a lot of the snow, the powder snow generally. So yeah, I think within the next couple of weeks we'll start moving some stuff around. But it's quite exposed at the top. So if you look at the webcams when you get a chance, especially the Stoke cam, you'll see that there's a lot of drifting right now. So it's been filling in nicely. Sun Peaks will be the first big BC resort to open. Yeah, November the 16th, Tim. Thanks for joining. Good to hear you, Tim. Yeah, they're 2 weekends away. I'm very tempted to go up to Sun Peaks. Need to see, watch the webcams over the next couple of weeks, see what terrain is going to be open. Don't really have any. Having said that, I am spent to go to Vancouver, so I might stop on the way. We shall see. What resort am I at? I live in Revelstoke, Henry. So yeah, I'm a couple of hours north of you guys from Big White. But if you're ever up this way this winter, give me a shout and we'll go for a ride. Friday, Saturday, Sundays are my days off this year, so I'll be out riding most of those days on resort or in the back country somewhere. Is this your first season there, Henry? Have you done a couple of more, or what's your situation? Two times out west. First time was a week at Whistler. Nice. What did you think of Whistler? But you're here. You're there in Big White for the whole season. Awesome. Yeah, it'll be a good time, man. I guess if you're in the resort and it's snowing already, like, it's just hard not to get excited. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you're just walking around town already and you've got those snowflakes coming down, like, I can hear rain outside my window right now, which, there's a degree of like, oh, it must be snowing up top somewhere. I just want it to be soon. Whistler was awesome. From when I've seen the videos on a good day, it does look like there's a lot of terrain, for sure. Tim, La Nina looking good already. Yeah, so we had El Nino last year, which was just a damp mess and a winter to forget for everybody. I think generally compared to a lot of places we did okay, but it was, there were some really nasty days. Like, I remember, especially early doors. Just, not fun. I'm so excited. The hardest part now is waiting till we open. I know, like, just all of them. Like, it's 3 weeks away, and it's not like there's much else you can do. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can't. There's not too much mountain biking or hiking that you can do right now. We've got bears still around the town, so everybody's trying to watch out for bears as they're trying to be outdoorsy still. But yeah, everyone's just like waiting in anticipation. So I'm glad we're on the same boat there. The Big White POW cam is saying we've had 25 centimeters. Oh, okay. Wait, hang on. I got to check this. Love a big powder webcam pic. Yeah, because you guys have got a big measuring one as well, haven't you? 25 centimeters. Yeah, but okay. I mean, it looks like it's building up there, but there's that. I mean, there's that one picture of the actual, like the height, this sort of the main plaza, and you can just tell it's sort of been all the snow on the trees, and it's starting to build up on the chairs. Oh man. Down to I definitely think we could do with a few more webcams at our resort for sure. What are the odds they open earlier? Honestly, like it depends what happens. It depends what happens over the next 2 weeks. Like if you like if we get like this big, I mean, Revelstoke, I think over the weekend and into early next week in the Alpine anyway was forecasting around 20 to 30 centimeters. That freezing level's around 1,000. It's not uncommon for us to be downloading on the Gondi first week, so skiing in the upper part of the mountain, but then coming down. But I don't know, mate. Keep doing your snow dance, Henry. We'll find out. Like, could happen if you get a couple of big storms come in. Yeah, why not? And I guess you've got the staff there. There's still a lot of work to do here before we open. Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's like, it's a balance. It's a balance of like getting it all, getting everyone trained up from a staff perspective as well. Brad is joining us from Ride Vibes. Brad, good to hear from you. Guys, Brad is a longtime friend of the channel, based out in the Midwest in the US. How we doing? Dude, we're good, man. Just talking up the hype of this season here in BC. Yeah, La Nina bringing us hopefully a big powder winter. Is it snowing there? It's snowing right now in the Alpine at a lot of the resorts. So a couple of the guys who are on the chat here, Brad, they're based down in Big White and Sun Peaks, near Kelowna and Kamloops. They're getting snow already in the village. Like down in the town here, not quite yet, but it's dumping up on the mountain. So things are shaping up well. Collectively, we've probably got between like 2 to 4 weeks before our individual resorts open up. So yeah, it's a bit of a waiting game now. But how are you though, mate? It's good to hear from you, and seeing you've already brought out a couple of vids. So have you had any snow out in the Midwest yet? What about over in Colorado? Colorado's already opened some, right? Haven't they? From what I've seen. Is it Keystone's already open? Is that opening tomorrow? Brad, you need to try and coordinate a Revy trip next winter and have a chat with Simon, because there might be something going on. He might be coming out this way. We've had some casual chats. Imagine if we could get your boys here with Simon. That would be sick. Had some open. Wolf Creek got 20 inches? 20? You're kidding me. Now I've got to do, I know, 50 centimeters. That's ridiculous. Early season. Wolf Creek is open and Keystone opens tomorrow. Yeah, I thought it would. I saw Lucas's live stream a little earlier, and I think he mentioned, I think he's doing a live stream tomorrow about Keystone opening. So Keystone's rumored to be opening. Southern Colorado got slammed. Always does early doors, hey? But it's snowing here, hey? So that's an also good thing. Like you can see the snow line, like it's like just walking around and seeing it, just getting hyped. Just got to get the skis out. But heck yeah, I'm game for a Revy trip to see you and Simon for sure. Also wonder how many resorts stay open late over in over on your side as well, like Colorado? Do you like how many? Like Revy is staying open super late this year. They're actually staying open to April the 21st, so we're getting a whole extra week at the end of the season, which is awesome. I don't know if I'll have much time this year, but yeah, just thinking ahead to next year, we should plan something, whether it's you guys coming to Revy or to BC and we do like a week trip around places, or maybe we try and do something with you guys. I don't know, but it's long overdue that we do that, so we should jump on and chat for that at some point. But that is awesome that you guys are getting snow early. I love seeing your videos where like you're just making the most of like those little bits of snow early doors though. Colorado stays open into April, some higher elevations into May, but mid-April is a safe bet. Yeah. Could definitely do something at some point and just have to yeah, let's try and figure something out. And the good thing from your perspective, Brad, is that the American dollar goes so much further out here. So, yeah. Yeah, same for you, Johnny. Obviously, like the British pound out here goes a good way, like when you convert it. So, I don't know what the window rate ticket is at Big White this year. Ours have stayed the same. Like an adult 1 day is 179. You know, when you compare that to Whistler, which is significantly more. Yeah, it does. It goes a long way. I mean, the longer you spend out here, you do realize that things are expensive. You know, things like fuel and a lot of the groceries. But yeah, you got to make it work. The biggest thing that you'll notice is like when you go out here, Johnny, and it's just like, you know, the only time in the UK where you might buy a jug or a picture is if you're in a university environment. Whereas like out here, like going out with a mate and yeah, grabbing a jug of Pilsner or whatever the beer is all too easy. I'm guessing, Johnny, you get a complimentary season pass with your role. How big are the jugs? About, I think, 3 or 4 glasses. I don't know what the measurements are. I don't know if it's pints or whatever, but yeah, you can get some. It's relatively worth it, you know, depending on what the depending what you're getting. Anyway, that will do. Season pass included. Awesome. Brad, what's your plans for the winter? Have you got any trips lined up yet? Have you got any vids planned? If we've got any snowboarders watching, please do go check out Brad's channel. It's called Ride Vibes. They're based out in the Midwest and they do some awesome trips. So. Keystone in December. Not long. Are you doing that on the Icon, Brad, or what pass are you using? Park City in Jan. Holiday Valley, New York in Jan. Never heard of that one. What's that one like? Be interesting to see a new resort anyway. And then probably Heavenly in Cali in Feb or March. Heavenly's meant to be good. I've heard good things about Heavenly. Holiday Valley, that's close to Tim. Brad's asking Tim, where are you based then? Are you on the East Coast? Unfortunately, yes. I think all the East Coasters tend to come out this way at some point, don't they, Tim? But Tim's coming to Canada. Tim, you. So, what's your nearest resort then, besides Holiday Valley? Would love to go back out to the US at some point and see more. Sorry, Tim. Yeah, Ontario. You did say Ontario. I'm getting my wires crossed. Tremblant looks nice. And that's on the, I think that's on the Collective. So if I ever end up on the East Coast for whatever, like I could head up that way. I tell you what, the other day I saw the most Blue Mountain. Okay, let me check that one out. Blue Mountain. Coquitlam? I don't know if I've spelled that right. No, that's Blue Mountain Park. Hang on. Here we go. The Blue Mountains in Ontario. Look at that. You got like a frozen lake right at the base, and it's a very picturesque village you've got there. Looks like a lot of grooming on those runs though, hey? Looks nice though. Do you have a schedule for the live streams? So Johnny, typically what I like to do in season is it is evening times, and actually it's normally on a Friday, so it's roughly around this time. And yeah, I'll grab a couple of beers, invite you guys to do the same, and yeah, I'll sort of have a little bit of a topic to discuss for a little bit, and then we just chew the fat and talk all things skiing. So yeah, it's a pretty regular thing. So set your reminders, subscribe to the channel, and you should get there's a notification anyway. Brad knows Blue Mountain. My dad used to ride there when he was growing up. Always wanted to visit, and both Blue and Tremblant are on the Icon Pass. Awesome. Brad is on the Epic this year. Might go Icon next year to hit Copper and some others that I haven't been to yet. It's always that trade-off, isn't it? Epic versus Icon, or Mountain Collective. And if you get Icon, you can come here as well, Brad. So I can sort you out some deals on. I'll try and sort you out some deals on accommodation anyway. Yeah, Johnny, pretty much every Friday, I reckon between sort of 7:30 to 8. I try and give a little bit of advance notice on the community post section on my channel. So yeah, stay tuned. Probably with the East, the last couple. Still feeling like English time to me. So you've literally just come over, Johnny. Yeah, it takes some getting used to. But what I love now about the weekends here is that you can get up and just casually sit and watch football or rugby or whatever, 7, 8 a.m., which is in the afternoon, from the comfort of your bed. It's great. I mean, it's a bit different from watching in the pub with a couple of pints for sure, but it's actually very nice. Got into Kelowna on Monday. Yeah, so okay, so you are still literally just shaking off the jet lag then. Yeah. Problem with the East is the last couple of years has been the lack of cold. Yeah. Which is surprising because I thought the East generally had a reputation of being cold. I know you don't get a lot of snow, but I guess without the cold, you can't run the snow machines, right? Stayed in the hostel dorm 2, which was a bad idea. Oh, no. Oh, dear. Mate, had the snoring world champion in the dorm above mine. Did you give him a kick and tell him to calm down and tell him to quiet down? There's nothing worse. Absolutely nothing worse. What are your digs like though in Big White now, Johnny? Are they all right? Yeah, I'm in a pretty big shared apartment, but I'm actually the only one here at the moment. So very nice. Well, that's awesome because then you get the pick of the beds. But no doubt that'll get pretty rowdy once people arrive. But that's awesome. Like if you get it, like first seasons is a way to do it. Like live in a house with multiple people. I think most of the others aren't coming for a week or so. Awesome. So that gives you time to like shake off your jet lag and sort of find your way around, right? And then you can be the tour guide and sort of tell everyone where we're going for the night. The pick of the beds. Yeah, that's like one of the things. If you're coming in and doing a ski season, get there first. It's what I did in Japan. It was great. I mean, granted, like the whole place was still pretty hollow anyway, and you could hear everything when other activities were going on. Definitely didn't want the staff accom. Can't be doing with a shared room with someone else. Yeah, I know. Yeah, luckily I've only done it the once, and that was in Japan with the whole team, and it was. Yeah, you just like even if you're an extrovert in that environment, you just feel like you need to have some personal space. Did you get have I got my skis waxed up yet? No, actually all my stuff is still bagged up from when I left Austria at the end of last year. It's in the garage, but it's something I might do this weekend actually is get that stuff out and start looking at the gear. Touring stuff should be okay. Probably will need a coat of wax. I need to fix part of the bindings of my old Solomon skis because they were not clipping in right. But yeah, don't think I'll be splashing out on any new skis for the moment. All I want actually is a new a backcountry bag. I need a bigger one. My North Face Slack packets too small for that if I want to put all my camera gear in. So yeah. I just realized there was a pro deal day on at the resort today and I've completely forgotten about it. So yeah. What's my quiver? What am I drinking? I'm on the G&Ts. I love trying out some of the local Canadian stuff, but it's just so damn expensive compared to like just getting a bottle of Gordon's. Like I can get a Gordon's from $30. Whereas like if you want a Canadian gin, it's like upwards of 40, 45. Oh, my ski quiver. Sorry. Sorry, Johnny. But you should have clarified that beforehand. But my ski quiver, I'm on some my touring setup, Dinstar M3 108s, and then my Solomons. Oh God, what were they? This is going to annoy me off the top of my head. I barely used them last year, actually. they were. It's just going to annoy me. It's my Saturday/Friday, so I'm allowed to drink, and I've just come off a couple of weeks of not having anything. Solomon Blanks. I've got the QST Blanks. So yeah, they were my first set. I actually bought those they were ex-Cat skiing skis. Did really well, but they've kind of become my rock skis a little bit. But yeah, one of the bindings, it's not so much the binding itself, it's the piece in the middle with the bits that come down onto the snow when you clip in. And that's been bent, and I basically need to get a replacement for that. But yeah, don't think I need anything. Part of me would love to get some all mountain skis or some really cheap like some carvers, just for those groomer days if we ever have a couple of weeks where there aren't any like big powder, and just to be able to properly tear up the pisted runs. But yeah, once you come over here, Johnny, you start to realize that the width of skis quadruples very easily. It's a Friday night. I'm having a drink. Your body clock might be on cup of tea time, but for me, this is this is chill and enjoy chatting skiing with everyone. Johnny has the Armada Declivity 102s, which are great skis because they carve really well and are good off piste, but I'm a bit worried that they're going to be a bit too thin. Armada Declivities, let me Google that. I don't think I've really had much encounters with Armadas, to be fair. I don't even think we have them in the range here. We have bent Chetlers from Atomic, but 102s, I think if you're on piste, they'll be fine. I mean, those are all mountain skis, so to a point, yeah, I think you're going to be okay. But for maybe deep days, I don't know. See how you get on. Don't rush into sort of getting anything straight away. Yeah, I know. My quiver tonight is gin. It was beer last night. Everyone was out dressed in Halloween stuff, and I wasn't. But there's only so much beer I can drink nowadays. You staying in Revy for life this time? If I can get permanent residency, Brad, yeah. Like, so I'm not on PR yet, but that's we have to see how it goes. But yes, my plan is to stay here for the lifetime, play it for the long run. Yeah, I just got to PR is the next bit, Brad. And yeah, I'm really committed to it all. Yeah, I love it here, man. Love it to bits. And it's exciting to be in a place which is growing. I mean, it doesn't happen overnight. And I think for a lot of people, obviously, like if you're just coming here to ski for a week and you've come back the last few years and you've maybe noticed it, like there's nothing new on the resort, I can understand how that could get a bit frustrating. But it's special, you know, with that quality of snow and the terrain that you have, and it never gets old to me. And each year, like whether it's snow or there's been some logging or whatever it is, there's a feature that's always a little bit new or different, and eventually it's going to open up terrain. Or if you learn a new skill, like you do a bit more into your backcountry or something like that, yeah, it is what you make it. So Yeah, for the time being, mate. I'm open-minded, but I don't see any reason to leave here right now. What is your take on Rise and Alpine saying that Revy is a bit overhyped? I guess he just didn't have the best snow conditions when he went. Which video did he say that in? Was that in... I know he did one recently where he was like ranking the resorts. Was that the video? I've not watched that yet. If he's gone in the last 2 years, then I could totally understand that perspective. Yeah, what video was that in, Tim? Was it from that video? I might have to watch that. Not to clap back, obviously, although I will probably be flying the flag of Revelstoke for sure and telling him he needs to come back here at another time. I've chatted to him a few times privately and tried to tee something up, but it's like the thing. I mean, like Rise and Alpine and Lucas Catania make some amazing content. And often I find myself trying to compare to them in terms of like what I want to make from my videos. But there's a difference in that, you know, like I work in the mountains, like my whole professional life is revolved around them. And this for the time being is like something separate. Whereas like those guys have done a superb job of, you know, crafting a whole career out of making those videos. So they don't just visit one place, they visit a lot. But you know, Rise and Alpine Jim, he champions Whistler a lot. That's his favorite place. That's him, which is awesome. And Lucas is another one. He's kind of sort of here, there, and everywhere, doing lots of different things. And then there's also Steep, who is just crushing it in the area as well. Is it overhyped? In answer to your question, no, I don't think it is. I don't think it is at all. I think that there's a lot of this. There's a lot of potential to it for sure. But again, it depends what you want. Like if you spend all day skiing at somewhere like Whistler, where you have several lifts, high speed, giving you access very, very quickly to multiple bowls that then have that same amount of backcountry terrain. And then you go to somewhere else where maybe whether you've got tons of snow or not, you have to boot pack a lot, or you have to, really find that unique place to kind of really make it worth it. I can understand that. And yeah, if he's come in the last couple of years where it's not been your typical Revy winter, I'd take that with a pinch of salt, because nowhere had a typical winter really the last 2 years. Whistler had some real crap days. Everywhere suffered. So yeah, I need to get him back here and show him the true Revy anyway. So yeah, be good to, yeah, I want to ski with him. He looks like a real cool, fun dude, and I love his videos. And yeah, hopefully we do. Johnny will be on the beers tomorrow night. I feel that way about Breckenridge. I could ride there every day and never get bored. Yeah, Breckenridge is just so vast from what I remember. I'd love to go back to it, but yeah. Yeah, so it was the ranking video. Yeah, one thing again, which I need to learn how to do more of, is maybe holding back some content for this shoulder season period, because I noticed like he's come out with some great videos straight out the gate, reviewing resorts, ranking resorts and stuff where he's been out skiing. He obviously has a bit more flexibility to kind of go to these places, and he does an awesome job. Yeah, but I'll have to watch that, see where on the list he ranks Revy, and invite him back. Trying to hit some home slopes this season. Last year, the Midwest was trash. Rode out west or out east all season and never got to ride at home. Yeah, that's never fun, hey? I mean, what's it looking like at home, Brad? Are you getting snow anytime soon, do you think? Any new developments? Tim, yeah, his videos are great. Oh, it's awesome. Like, I mean, his enthusiasm, and he has that hot sauce thing which he made, which is pretty cool. Need to get myself a hands on that. Never tried it, but I want to just to see what it's like. It's like the Canadian equivalent of having some like port or what's that cinnamon whiskey that you have on the slopes? I don't know. He's done his own version of it, and it is sells out like a bomb. So it's very clever. Smash the like button. I don't have a noise or anything for that, but smash it. Smash it, everyone. It's historically warm. Literally broke records for heat this week. Eesh. Okay. But your area, when you do have winter, it does seem to sort of it's a little bit later start, right? Normally, I mean, like you don't have as much altitude from where you are, Brad. I think starting to cool down this morning, though. That's good. Get those autumn vibes heading into winter. What is your home resort? Good question, Tim. Boyne Mountain, probably where your home one is. Yeah, you've had some fun days at Boyne, looking at those videos. Northern lower peninsula of Michigan, right off the Great Lakes. That lake snow is pretty historic, hey? Like when you do get those storms that come off there, and it just continues to dump. We all had a trash season last year, I think. Generally speaking, seemed like end of season got like a second gust of wind, like right at the end when pretty much everyone had given up on the winter, for a few places anyway. Blue Mountain can get some good lake effect snow if it's a proper winter. I'd love to see that, like just see what lake effect snow looks like. Same thing with those resorts up near Tahoe, like Tahoe last year, and those was it Mammoth as well. Like some of the stuff they got, like those pictures of, it was like 2-3 weeks of continuous snow in those areas, and like never seen anything like that. Like once in a lifetime kind of like snow experience. And yeah, that would be just unreal to see. I mean, and there's often a chance of that happening here in Revelstoke because we do have our microclimate, but I think like apparently in the past it used to happen more, but now that we have like a dam and other things that apparently have affected the weather here. But the thing is with Michigan is we have no elevation, so it has to be 30 or under, otherwise it's slush in the day and ice at night. All right, so you've got to get the perfect temps to get that good snow. Yeah, but if you get out to Colorado, it can be 40 and the snow is still good. Yeah. Yeah, because Colorado's got all that extra elevation. But typical winters in the Midwest are very cold, under 10 at night, and mid-teens during the day during January. So okay, so hang on, Fahrenheit. I've got to convert that. Okay, hang on. 10 Fahrenheit to Celsius. -12? No, wait, hang on. No, wait, really? Under 10 at night. That's cold. That's really cold, actually. Just too warm. Yeah. Well, that was the whole trend for everyone. And I don't know if you've seen it in Europe, but like quite a few of the big problem in Europe now is a lot of these resorts who are at such low altitudes just no longer get the snow at all in season, and so a lot of them where they're kind of like you know, having that ski hill is a big part of the community and a big impact on that. When they've not had the snow, now they've just started to take down a few of the lifts. Like a few of these resorts have now closed as a ski resort ahead of this winter in small French towns, because it's just like it's costing too much to try and run these lifts and try and create snow. And yeah, it's not the same that it was 30, 40 years ago. It's been a while since we've had a typical winter. Yeah, but fingers crossed. Brad, are you doing a live stream? I know you'd been chatting soon about maybe doing a pre-winter hype one. Have you got anything planned yet? I want to do a live stream for sure. Having to use that feature where I can share a stream with peeps. Yeah, I need to have a look. I know you posted on the Discord chat. I need to have a bit of a look at that. But if there's any way we can kind of get that across, let's make it happen. Just been traveling a lot for business. Have to go to Montreal next week, and then I'm finally home for a while. Okay, well let's maybe aim something for like that second or third weekend in November. Then like right as these resorts are starting to open, and then we can really ramp up the hype. But this has been an awesome live stream, guys. I'm going to wrap it up soon, but absolutely buzzing how everyone's kind of come on board for this. Sounds good. Yeah, let's do it. Let's have a bit of a chat and try and two things up. Going to hit Call of Duty Zombies for a bit before calling it. Okay, I'm timing it so I've got like 40 minutes before India start playing New Zealand in cricket, so I'm gonna put that on the big screen. So I'm gonna grab a bit of food. But good to hear from you, mate. Thanks for coming on board. I'll chat to you in a bit. Johnny, still snowing where you are. Awesome. Well, the fact that I'm envious of the fact you've got snow outside, whereas like I'm just here in the rain right now. But yeah, it won't be long. And yeah, wish you all the best, Johnny. Thanks for coming on board. Tim, thanks for coming. Maybe we need to build more indoor resorts like the one in Jersey. I don't know if there'd be much of a demand for that here in like British Columbia. Maybe on the East Coast, sure. I could see you'd get that. It's big in the UK, indoor and then outdoor dry ski slopes. I don't know if you have any of those in Canada. I'd be curious to know about that. Take it easy. See you on the next one. Yeah, I appreciate everyone who's come on board tonight. I'm sure I'll come up with something and we'll go live again next Friday. But more videos coming soon, so stay tuned, everyone. And thanks for watching. Go check out some videos. Here's to a good winter. See you later.